So did you see the MrBeast thing where he rented out the theater to eat his Lunchables and watch the Talk Tour podcast?
Yeah.
Do you know Talk Tour? Do you know the Hawk Tour girl?
Yeah, I know. Gotta give me that Hawk Tour.
What did you think about MrBeast's generational fall off?
What do you think first, Connor? Because I have very strong opinions, but I've kept them shielded for 3 years.
Shielded? You haven't kept them...
I mean, anyone that thinks MrBeast is about anything other than making himself the richest YouTuber in the world has missed something. I mean, I've had chats with all sorts of YouTubers behind the scenes in the years.
Yeah.
I've met his manager, Reed, 2 years ago. I had a video call. He's left him. I had a call with his manager, Reed, a year or two ago.
Yeah.
And he was nice enough, but they were very much like, how can you make us more money? And I was like, I mean, I like to make videos that are fun and educational. And like, yeah, but money. That's all we care about. And they were coming over at the time when MrBeast had just overtaken PewDiePie and stuff.
Right.
And that day, after the call with Reed, I was going surfing with Felix.
Yeah.
You know, when I could get into a bathing suit, not anymore. Bodysuit. And I was like, oh, you know, I'm actually going to see Felix in a minute. And they were like, you know, we want to have MrBeast, Jimmy come over, and we're going to have this we want to do like a handoff. We're like, you know, from one YouTuber to the next, to the top of their game. And I was like, this just sounds the most pretentious shit I've ever heard. Oh yeah, great. And like, of course Felix wants that. Come on over and just... you know, hand some sort of weird trophy or something. I was just very lame. I remember talking to Felix, and I was just like, this is just so lame now.
But I mean,
is this all YouTube is now?
Yeah,
is it all just money?
Yeah, mostly.
And then he teamed up, and then, you know, he teamed up with Logan Paul, and that tells you what you need to know. Literally, he teamed up with Logan Paul, the biggest, can I say the C word?
Yeah.
Like, biggest f***ing there is, right? I mean, everybody seems to have forgotten what a massive Logan Paul is.
Well, I mean, now
right?
it's back.
If he's not filming somebody who's recently taken their own life, literally hanging from a tree in the forest and making it about themselves, somebody who has exploited their viewers through cryptocurrency scams, somebody who's I saw a video of him like pushing his own dog off a boat the other day. And I don't know if you can debate, did the dog jump of his own accord? Was it pushed? I don't know, but it looked pretty sinister. And like, you know, you shouldn't be partnering with these sort of people.
Yeah, it is an odd choice. He does seem to like love Logan a lot, and it business-wise.
But you and I know behind the scenes, you know, you've heard bad things about MrBeast for years. I don't think.
Yeah, you hear rumors.
You've told me rumors.
I've heard a lot of rumors.
Yeah, right.
But like nothing that's like substantial. It's just more like.
And I don't think he's like he's pure evil or anything like that.
No.
I just think people need to look past the philanthropy, which is solely designed for his own benefit. It's kind of like it's an incredible defensive system where. Yeah. You know, if you donate money and do some great things, and he has done great things, we can't deny that. If you can use that really as a sort of deterrent for any criticism, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. You know, it's not. You know, the philanthropy is. It always feels like it's there as a barrier to stop any criticism, and now that has stopped working because people have seen past that.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because like philanthropy is always a tough one because obviously at the end of the day, it's still good even if.
Of course.
He's using it as a shield. You're like, all right, well, he's still doing it, you know? But it's definitely, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of, I don't know. It feels like it is being used as a tool in some senses, but it's so hard to distinguish when it is and it isn't, right? Because, like, even if it is, it's like, well, it's still a good thing. It's hard to use that as a point, like, against him, but
I don't know. Like Jacksepticeye when he did the comment years ago, it was about a year ago now, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
You know, and he was like, I hate how YouTube's about this and that. And then MrBeast went off on one and they had to sort of apologise. But deep down, you know, Jack, that's what he really thinks. And recently, with recent events, he's come back out and been like...
I mean, I actually, funny enough, when that happened...
You were with him, weren't you?
The day that happened, I had dinner with Sean and Jack. I always call him Jack as well, but... I just call him Jack. He was, to me, like, obviously, he's so mature and so chill. He was just like, I just don't want to deal with this. This is not what I wanted it to be. Like, this is, I don't want to have this fallout.
But it you know, and you can tell...
But I think, you know, it's aged well. The clip's aged well.
It's aged very well. You know,
did you see the logo?
Honestly, but I'm glad it's reached this point.
Yeah, Logan Paul with the Tommy in it. Do you know Tommy?
Yeah, I saw Tommy.
That's very funny. Very funny.
Yeah.
He's arguing.
I saw
leaking DMs, which I feel like if you have to leak DMs, you've already kind of like, I don't know, I feel like that's slimy if you're showing off DMs. I'm like, come on, man, we're all adults.
Yeah, and there's other things I could talk about this. Things I've seen, heard, read behind the scenes through people I know. But like, that's my thoughts on it. I've been waiting to say things a long time about that.
I feel like generally a good rule of thumb is that if you see a creator who Seems like they have a lot of friends, and they hang out with a lot of people. They're normally a bit more well-adjusted, I think. There's a certain group of people or creators that you interact with, and you're like, makes a lot of sense now why people didn't really hang out with them much.
Yeah,
but also that doesn't mean you have to hang out with people.
I can bash MrBeast and Logan Paul on stream.
People can donate to.
God.
They said they can see the Nick Soto article now. And they'll be like, Chris. No, I
give some blowback.
No, because look, at the end of the day, saying Logan Paul's an asshole is not a
Logan
hot
Paul.
take.
I mean,
also, he does WWE, and a lot of people say like it's so annoying that he's very good. He's very good at WWE. It's his credit.
I can't deny
but they're doing a world tour right now,
yeah.
and he's too busy to do the Japan leg, so he's not doing that.
You see, when his wife was giving birth to his baby, and he was like, "Prime by Prime, Lunchly."
No, what was the one where
it made me wish the internet had never been born.
He did the Trump interview where he talked about Gaza and then promoted Prime right in the middle of it.
Oh my God!
Do me a favor,
Who watches this guy anyway? It's just. And like, I might go in more depth on it.
It is tragic.
It's it's even we might have 1 million or 2 followers, but even talking about such large creators, MrBeast, I think you'll find a lot of creators are very scared to do that because he has a very scary, rabid fan base.
I mean, I don't think if I was in a MrBeast video, it would change anything. I don't, I think it's cool, the 50 creators thing. You see that, you're like, oh, that's awesome. But
do you know?
I wouldn't want to go to North Carolina.
What annoyed me? So remember the kids' blindness thing.
Oh, yeah.
Cured blindness, right? Yeah. He cured blindness.
I know why I'm laughing at that. It's just the thumbnail. The thumbnail is so demonic.
Here's the dilemma. Like, it's one of those things. On the one hand, brilliant. He, helped kids deal with blindness, which is really great. I kind of, you can picture the meeting. Having met his manager and talked to people behind it, you can picture that meeting, how it went in a room in North Carolina. We need to make more money. The team's got bigger. We need to increase our revenue by like 10%. Who's got some awesome ideas out here? And they went, what if we do bomb a truck and throw a train off a cliff? We'll do it. Any others? Cure blindness. We could like cure 100 kids blindness.
Yeah.
And that's the one. That's going to get the headlines. And that is how it's not like he read an article and went, man, this issue is really bad. If we could make a documentary covering this topic about blindness that could be cured. Yeah. That's the way to tackle it. A man in his position with billion subscribers, whatever it is, 300 million, he can make a really well-made documentary. He could cure blindness in 100 kids and still have the click-through rate that he demands and actually cover the subject in a serious matter. And yet, it was not that. It was cure the blindness, done, got my money, here's the sponsor, well, hey, done. Money, sorted, go.
It's a shame because I feel that...
That's the thought process. Yeah. How do we make the money? Reverse engineer it. We make an article or title a video, kids curing blindness. And when he covers a topic, it could be water in Africa, clearing a beach. Noble acts, no doubt about it. You can tell he doesn't really care. It's just, you turn up, make a quick video, back on a private jet to North Carolina, because it's not a documentary. He never has that one-on-one. I don't know. It's just.
Well, I think the reason why I don't like a lot of those is that it does feel like creatively void as well. Like there's nothing. Like there's no story being pursued.
There's no story.
There's just money, give, problem fixed, goodbye.
I remember I watched a video and it was like I went to a desert island or something. I escaped to a desert island for a day. And it was just lots. It starts with like a shot of a CGI building in the distance. A lot of people don't realise that a lot of those openings are like CGI hotels and boats and things. And you just see things happen, events that are impressive. Like, I bought $1 million yacht and I sat around and I rented $1 million yacht or whatever. But you just feel nothing because there's no emotion, no story, no plot behind it. It's just things happening. And he might well be. And when I had that management call with the Reed guy who he's now doesn't work with, I said, it'd be really cool to see Jimmy, first YouTuber in space. And he was like, we're thinking of doing it. But if he goes into space or he goes to the moon, I am literally on the moon right now. And it'll be so fucking boring. You'll want to kill yourself. It'll be so shit. Because you'll look at it, you'll feel nothing. It's just big acts with nothing at the hollow centre of it. And this is what I just hate it. I hate what YouTube's become. I think about just stopping doing everything and off to an island without internet so often because of this. Well, but I realise the audience, the kids, mostly under 14, naive, don't understand what's going on. But I think they'll be eating Lunchley and they'll be drinking Prime, and the next generation is, for lack of a better word. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's some videos where I feel like he's done a decent job of like telling the story, but there's other times where I'm like, man, I feel like the need to have the video be about what you're doing and yourself is sometimes the thing that holds back the video, and it makes it kind of boring. I feel like there's so many interesting stories that other people have that you could show off if you gave them the time. But retention, it's all about retention.
A good documentary, you tell the story of other people, and you get into their life and you tell that. And he is in a prime position to do that. You know, if I had 300 million subscribers, an unlimited budget, $46 million expenditure per year, whatever it was. Last year, I think he said he spent 45 million. You know, think of the good he could do and the stories he could tell. It doesn't have to always be about click-through rate, and it doesn't have to be about retention.
I mean, that's what it is. That's what it is.
I used to sort of respect him for the sense of the hard work and the grinding aspect of it. And I respect any creator who's done well on YouTube, because often there's a lot of time, effort, thought, has gone into that. But somewhere along the timeline, last year or two, the scales have tipped and it's all become a bit ugly.
Yeah. It's also boring, which I feel like is the saddest part of this.
Yeah, I watched him.
It's so boring.
Drive a train off a cliff into a pit,
the worst one.
And he bombed
terrible.
it, and he blew up a tank, and you're just sitting there like, oh, I don't care, man. You could like drop a nuclear bomb, and I'll be like, oh, what's the time? Like, just don't give a shit, because at the core of a video is a story and people and a plot and narrative, and him. It's just there's the humor and the nothing. It's just boring. That's the future of the internet. So get ready, fasten your seatbelts. It's about to get a lot shitter.
But I think in some senses that's what's almost like I've been thankful for, because I see that and I'm like, oh, I'm glad I don't ever want to do this. Because you know, for me, I don't know. I would
quite like to strap you to a train and drive it off a Welsh bridge.
I wouldn't. Okay,
I'll be good. There's a story there.
Give it 10 minutes and it'll collapse on its own. You know, because the things that we do, like the RV and the cycle, I like that it feels like you're just with your mates, and I think that's the energy I'm trying to capture, and like be like, all right, I don't need this 10-minute we cycled across Japan, and then I don't show anything ever, and I just can like just throw our bike in the ocean at some point, and then, you know, it's like there's no substance. It's like,
no,
I think you get to actually have banter and learn about some cool shit too while you're at it. Like, it's just fun.
I know Beast's not aimed at me.
No,
it's aimed at people who are 20 years younger than me. But I worry that, you know, when we grew up watching TV shows, my generation, I'm a generation younger than you, watching things from, you know, national TV where thought and passion had gone into it, and there was a story. I mean, so we've gone from there to like YouTube now, and a lot of YouTubers that are big, you know, I went on the first class plane and I did this, and you know, I'm as guilty as anyone. He's especially guilty.
Me too, yeah, I love
very
it.
guilty. Yeah.
But you know,
we're part of it. We're part of it.
I think they have the right idea, but there's awful execution. And I think I try to, at least when we do those kind of stuff, that I like doing it with you, because I think there's a lot of banter to be had. Like when we're on the tiny train, we're not pulling punches. We're like, this is just shit. Like, this is just awful. Like it is like it's so easy to make this stuff look idyllic or much cooler than it is. But I think it's also funny that when something is bad, it's okay to just be like, hey, this is kind of shit.
Absolutely. I think,
which is
you know, I wouldn't have exploded about this, but the day I saw Beast team up with Logan Paul, who, of course, you know, I was in Japan.
What do you mean you don't want electrolytes in your kids' foods?
I was, you know.
Are you getting enough electrolytes? I think I'm concerned about it. Are you getting enough?
You weren't here the time he did the everything wrong in Japan thing, right?
Oh, dude, I loved. And I was like, of course he did the go-karts. The go-karts that nobody likes.
I mean, we've gone off that. I don't know what was in this coffee, but you made me a very angry young man.
Coffee.
Well, yeah, hopefully there's no blowback saying things.
Oh, no, I don't think so. And
this is at a point where everyone has talked about it, so it's not like Connor and I are ranting about it.
I'm okay with burning my Lunchly sponsor opportunity.
Well, you won't be in a MrBeast video now, will you?
No, I won't.
That's your biggest dream. You know, my favorite thing about MrBeast is how in every interview he's like, we literally put all our money back into investing in content. He makes that like he's a genius businessman. Yeah. Everybody does that. Everybody invests their revenue back into producing things. That's not like, he's not an abnormal businessman. Like, oh, it's just I've got an idea. Let's put our revenue and profit into.
One business that doesn't.
Everyone does it. Everyone.
Actually, Nintendo doesn't.
Nintendo doesn't.
Yeah, Nintendo does. Nintendo's the most cash-rich company in Japan.
Taking down YouTubers for using their music.
Well, actually, if you count lawyer fees, I'm sure they do count as investing it back into the business.